This whole morning I've been busy trying to bend these seats back in place. They were all bent. This one was bent and the other one was broken, and there's no welder here on the spot who has time to fix it. So I put the legs back in place. I'm going to bring it to a welder like this. And this one was the hardest one because that leg broke off, so I now have it strapped in position. I also measured the distances and then put it in a drawing. That should be enough. Then someone on the yard who has a pickup truck offered me a ride to town, and I thought I'm never going to get these in a minibus, which I normally take to travel to town, so I might as well take this opportunity and get things going where I need other people to help me for, because the faster I can get things going, the faster I'll be back in the water. Before taking the bus back to Tiro Bay where the boat is, I thought I'll take a walk to the end of this pier, see the view of Hillsborough. It's rather nice. After Hurricane Beryl happened, we found ourselves a new home on the ocean. During the storm, a container smashed into the hull, creating various holes, and eventually landed on top of it. And her keel broke and was pushed inside the hull. In the last weeks we have started the process of fixing her up, and we really are doing our best to make her in a perfect condition again to be our home on the ocean for many years to come. There she is, Limonada 2. For who missed the part where I was talking about doing the keel repair, one of the last videos, that I'm going to start in about 2 weeks. I'm not doing that alone, but before going back in the water, a lot of other things need to be done too. So now I'm going to maintain the engines. That's it.
What you need.
Thank you very much. This was like $115 US at the Budget Marine. I'm like, yeah, I only need it once or twice right now. Maybe we could just borrow one.
I was like, we have one that we're not using like ever, so it worked out.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I'm gonna do maintenance on the engines. First, on this one over here. And yesterday, this room was full with stuff, and I relocated everything here. It took me like an hour to do this, but it took me like 1 full hour to just do these 2 sails. Whew. Sails are heavy for a boat like this. This is the dipstick, and according to YouTube videos, people suck it out of here. I'm doing this engine first because there's really nice light here. Because this is an owner's version, there's a big shower here, but not a lot of light at the engine. So we're gonna do everything first on the engine over there, and after that it'll be easy to do it on this one. Let's go get oil and oil filters. I bought some oil. I still had 1 full one, but that was not enough. The filters are not in stock. I ordered them. They should be here tomorrow morning. I'm gonna put back the old filter. Probably should have just left it in the first place, but whatever. And I'm gonna already suck out the oil of the other engine, because it really takes a bit of time to do that. I won't film that again. A bit redundant, showing it at 2 engines. Okay, got a nice original Yanmar filter. Let's put it in. Also here, a bit of oil on the ring. A new oil in the engine. I use Shell Rotella T4 15W40, and that's a rep for the oil. Then it's time for the diesel fuel water separator. It can use a little clean. Just came from Budget Marine to replace the diesel filter on the fuel water separator. I have a red one, only available is a blue one. So I did a lot of research. Now no difference. This is 30 microns, this is 10 microns. Basically this one has a little bit bigger holes, so bigger particles can go through. The idea is like, you know, this is the very first filter. It goes through, diesel goes through, and then there's another filter at the engine, which is smaller, a finer filter. But then also always the question is, how easy are the filters? How easy can you get to the filters? Like if it's really hard to get to the filter, next to the engine, then you might want to start with a smaller filter first. So if on the way it clogs up, you can replace the one that's easy to replace. Did a lot of research on this type of engine. What do people use? Do people use this one or both? And apparently it's like 50-50. Half uses this, half uses this. So since apparently half the people use this, I'm gonna put on the 10 micron. This is nice and clean. I put the O-ring in it, put a bit of diesel on it, and this can go together. Put a bit of diesel. The next O-ring, I can go on top. And put this one back. And tight is usually good enough. Now we need to put diesel in, take the air out. This is called a bleeding screw. Open it up and then put the valve open. And there's also a little pump here. You can screw it open and then pump. Now when diesel comes out over here, all the air is out. Easy peasy. I don't think it's actually necessary that I have to show you guys that I'm obviously cleaning the filter afterwards and having something under it to catch up the diesel. I think that makes sense. Moving on to the engine diesel filter, a very small one. The engine filter, there were still 2 of them on the boat. They're apparently rated for 10 to 15 micron. Apparently you can stick this one in and then it'll just stay in. Yeah, works. Then we gotta bleed the other filter. There's a pump here, and then this is where the filter is the new filter. The new filter is. So we're gonna take this bolt and make this loose and then pump. No. That thing just squirted within like, what? A minute. That was faster as expected. Wow. We're gonna take the oil out of the sail drive, and here seems to be the bolt to open it. But before opening it, I'm gonna first, with a tiny screwdriver, really clean up the edges around it. So otherwise, you know, you can break the screw and then you have a much bigger problem. And I'm also gonna put some PP Blaster on it and then wait a bit. Okay, I'm gonna wait 5 minutes. In the meanwhile, do the other side, and then let's see if it easily goes open. Let's fill up the sail drive oil. Good morning. The front triangle came back from the welder, so I'm just scraping off the old sealant, and then I can get rivets later, put it back, and then hopefully later today the rigger will come to measure that stay and the forestay. Progress. It's so early in the morning, the mosquitoes are still here. When the sun comes out, they'll leave. Wow, it's looking pretty dark over there. We're going to Budget Marine to get rivets for the triangle. You need special rivets called Monel rivets. So I know they have them, I just don't know if they have them in the size I need. No, not available in the size I need here at Budget Marine or at any Budget Marine in the Caribbean. Also not at Island Waterworld. So I'm gonna ask the rigger if he knows where to get them, and otherwise I'm just gonna order them on Amazon and take them back with me when I come back in 2 weeks from the Annapolis Boat Show. Another thing I'm gonna do is replace this zinc over here, and you have two different kinds. You have one in one piece like this, and you have one in two pieces, and the one in two pieces you can take out under the water while swimming, and for this one this all needs to come off. So I want to put on the one with two pieces, but here they are, $180 US, and I can order 4 of them on Amazon for $180 US. So I'm still going to the Annapolis Boat Show. By the time this video comes out, I've already been there, but yeah, I'm gonna order those to the States, because obviously, you know, I prefer to buy 4 for the same price as 1 here. This one, however, I cannot get loose. So first, this thing needs to come out. So I'm gonna ask it, pretty please, to come out. Pretty please, pretty please. Pretty please, come. You see, I told you, just ask it pretty please, and it works. The other one was already loose. Now I thought, I'm sure this thing's gonna be difficult to take off too, but it isn't. This one too. No, come on. Let's use a rubber hammer. So I'm not super experienced with the gas torch, and I know that people have burned down their boats because they got a bit too enthusiastic with this. So the closer I get to where I know there's oil in the engine, the more hesitant I am to actually use a heat torch. Okay, so I hope they all go loose by hand. This one does. Yeah, sometimes life can be easy. Aha! That one came off easy too. Okay, let's do the other one. Hope it's as easy. Probably will. I'm just cleaning up the inside of these a little bit, so I can make sure that this one will go in all the way. Are you gonna come out? Yeah. This is a fishing line, a part of a fishing line that's around here still. All right, I'll get that out later. Oh yeah! Well, that all got pretty stuck in it. Interesting. The rigger doesn't prefer to be on camera, but I thought I'd make a quick shot from up here for measuring the rigging. Then it's time to change the impeller. The impeller housing is surprisingly easy to take off on this Yanmar engine. So what does the impeller actually do? Well, if you look at the cooling system of a car drives really fast, and then air is being pushed basically through a radiator, and then the antifreeze, the engine has a pump to pump antifreeze through the radiator, and that's how the antifreeze is being cooled. Now, the boat doesn't have that because the boat boat doesn't go fast enough to cool that way. So with a boat, salt water is being pushed through a heat exchanger and then is being basically pushed out of the boat again. And in that heat exchanger are also separately a whole bunch of other pipes where antifreeze is being pushed through by a different pump. And because the salt water is also being pushed through that same box, the salt water is able to cool the antifreeze, but they don't get in touch with each other. So that's basically how it works. And yeah, let's replace it. It's getting dark and I would still like to run fresh water through the system, so at least let's do that. Come on, come on, yeah. I might just have enough light to show you the other one. So that is the raw water intake. I connected a hose to it. That is in a jerry jug. Let's start the other engine. Yeah. Gonna drain the antifreeze into there. We're opening this knob. We're doing a 50-50 mix of concentrate antifreeze and deionized water. I'm pretty sure you can also use distilled water, but this was available. Also, I took out the thermostats and I'm testing them. Let's take this one. This is nice, long out. So put in cold water, you'll see it go in. Way out. And back in. Last thing I want to do is to clean this up a little bit with a wire brush so that when I have the zincs I can just put them back. That's pretty good, I think. Finding out what the reason was why this propeller was so stuck and the other one was so easy. The other one, this here, full with grease, and here there's a lot of that white shell stuff from the ocean, build-up and no grease. So that's good to know. I'm gonna clean it up nicely and then later put new grease on. Yeah. I couldn't find these exact zincs, but I found these universal ones. They don't have holes in them, so I'm going to cut them to size. but it's a bit unnecessary to have this whole part sticking out, so I'm gonna grind it off. When you look at this video, you might think, at least for a part of it, that I actually knew what I was doing. But to be really honest, like, to make this video, it took a full week, because I need to figure out on YouTube how things worked. I need to ask around people, and that's one of the most challenging things I find. Is not necessarily the doing, but the finding out how to do things. That takes time. Like, if I would have to do everything I did in this video again right now, I could probably do everything in 2-3 hours. But now, because I did many of the things for the first time, especially on a different engine, it took me a whole week. Well, I learned a lot. Before finishing this video, I want to take a moment to thank all of you guys for watching. Special thanks to all of the patrons, the upper tier patrons on the wall of this boat. And I'll see you next week.